So slip in my pocket, see how I do. Okay, welcome to November 20th. Seems weird to have it there. Rotary meeting. I am going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and so we have Judy Jr.
Cindy, you have Cindy run down.
Okay, all right. Cindy is here to give the. I didn't have to. Where all of us who know how to do it are going to have to do it loud. You need to choose. We don't have to choose.
One for the
Yeah, those are for the people on the lawn. Is there a floor?
Yes, right here.
Perfect. Okay.
Please join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we test of the things we think, say, or do, first,
Is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Cindy. And our inspiration comment, come on up. All right, this is a prayer for the world by Rabbi Harold S. Kushner, and I think it's a good reminder to all of us. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt, the neglect. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach up to heaven. Amen. Amen. Thank you. All righty, so Pat, did we get rid of all the cards today? Pat, I saw her out there hustling. Good job, girl. Okay, and I'd also like to first greetings I have to do is to the person online who is with us today. So let's all get up and give a round of applause. Yes, so good to see you. Okay, great. So we also have here a visiting Rotarian Friday Club, James Morales. Say that right? Oh, you know what? Okay. Anyway, and then we also have, I'm going to actually let Lisa introduce our guests that we had that we'll be hearing from shortly. So Lisa, you want to introduce our guests?
To introduce our Student Service Above Self Award winner for November. And that's Abigail Smith, Abby. And then her mama and daddy, which are Krista and Tony Smith. And then Mr. Sarver, you know him, the youngest comes.
Thank you. All right. Just some short announcements, and I'm going to try to announce this short today. So I've got, okay, I am. So if you have something other than this, once again, free frozen turkeys. If you get one in the next few days, you can bring it up to. Anyway, I want to ask what days they're open because I keep driving out on Friday and there's nobody there.
I don't know.
Okay,
Thursday, I believe.
Friday. Okay, Thursday. So anyway, so if you get a receipt, you need to bring it out that day. So I thought it was important to know that when it was open. Jamie is still taking cards by December 11th. This is the last day. Bring a card. So there's 2 meetings after this one that you can still bring meetings. So over the holiday, when you're hanging around, just watching that Hallmark movie, you might just fill out some cards for people in our community. Tuesday, December 9th is the backpack filling out of the Rasmus High School. There's 2 shifts. There's an early shift and on later shifts. First shift is 4:30, under blocks is getting moving open. 5:30, I think we're all there. Five, okay, 5, and everybody was to start stuffing away. And then if you could stay later to help clean up, and those of us taking bags will stay later to load them up. So that's coming up. Blue bottle drops, stay going on, bring in your blue bags full of bottles. I think I need some more bags. There's some back here today. Anyways, I need some more bags. So bring those up to December 2nd. So it's through the Thanksgiving. Give you people lots of cans at your event and then get them back. And so is there any other announcements that I forgot? Come on up, Allison.
You all may have seen the email that Nelson sent out. He had given his peace poll that he had gotten if he went to the district conference dinner at Boys and Girls Club. They had given him a peace poll. He donated it to the club. And so we are doing a ribbon cutting on December 1st at 3:00 at the club. It would be great to have Rotarians from all of our clubs present as we do that.
What time?
3:00.
3:00. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, two announcements, one a reminder,
That's probably
one a reminder, most all of us at some point or another will help to organize somebody to come and give a presentation, be a presenter. Their information they want to have on the big screen needs to come on a thumb drive, so just for everybody's information, when you're talking to somebody about being a presenter, bring their slideshow, their whatever it is on a thumb drive for us, please. Second announcement is for all of you out there in the community doing good, the club's Porch Fest grant deadline, our deadline for application to be received for us to get money to after Porch Fest is in about a week or two. So I'll remind any of you that might want to have one of your nonprofits apply for funds.
It's
Funds, these activities.
It's fun. A couple things, a roster is going around for volunteering for December. So it's a short one, not December itself, but how many meetings we have. So please sign up as readers, etc. And that's the end of the meeting. The other thing is the Rotary Youth Exchange interviews. You know, our district comes here and goes to North Valley. Those will be December the 12th to the 14th. So I'm going to pass around a volunteer sign-up sheet. Put your name, and if you're willing to host students, or if you're willing to be involved at North Valley during the interview process on Saturday. So it's the 12th to the 14th. So name, and be wonderful if you're willing to do both. Okay.
The wreaths are getting picked up today from the equestrian club there that they have sold, so they'll be coming soon at one of the meetings. We'll bring them.
Okay, that brings us back to our meeting. So, couple things, non-Rotarian, I'm getting lots of people in, this is wonderful. Oh, this is wonderful, talking to that, it's wonderful, so if you have them, you can either email them to me, I've got some more forms, if you want a form, to sign somebody up. So that's going on, I'd like to have it done by the end of the month, so that we can kind of get a committee and plan on what we're gonna do. We're getting so many good people, I just can't imagine choosing one and doing it just one, so I want to do a celebration of our local non-Rotarians that are doing community things in our community. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to come up and talk to us about the service of itself.
Okay, today's one of the fun meetings. We have a student come. And if you want to see her bio, it's in the navigator. But this is quite wonderful young woman. She's got a 4.0. She's a senior. She's in the equestrian club. She's in team leadership. She's in an AP and advanced classes, work release church seminar, horseback riding, carpet. Oh, completed. Competing, spending time with family, friends, and enjoying Mother Nature. And she wants to be a veterinarian. And I'm so excited because we need veterinarians on this thing. I'll introduce Bill Sarkis, who will tell us what you have to
All right. Well, thank you for having me back. I kind of missed COVID because we were zooming for a while. It's like sitting in my office with a student wasn't the same effect. I have the privilege, it was 10, 15 years ago. Then they said, did you want to do this program? And I said, well, what is it? Because we wear several hats as a counselor. This was a recognition program, and you have to go to Columbus, Club and Lions, Club and Rodeo. They said, but you get a free lunch. I said, okay, I'll do it. And then they said, what the kids you get to do with the young men and women are quite impressive. So, but I've been doing this for a long time now, and it gives me a great balance to my day because we deal with a lot of things and we hear a lot of things, and it's sometimes pretty frustrating. And when I call these students into my office, many of them I don't know. I have about 400 kids assigned to me. We have 4 counselors. We have about 1,720 kids on our campus. So when they come in, they say, well, why you called me into your office? You're not my counselor. What are you doing? And then I explain to them, well, have you ever heard of Rotary? Have you ever heard of Columbus? Have you ever heard of Lions Club? They kind of know about the Dr. They kind of know about the Rotary track. And I said, do you know what these clubs do in our town? And what they do for our town? And what they do for our youth in our town? And so I really enjoy it, kind of informing them about, look around, a lot of the stuff that happened in this town doesn't happen by accident. And so, they're like, well, I didn't know they did all this. And so then I get to tell them, well, this is why I'm calling you into my office. What do you, I can look at your grades, that's only part of the, but what do you do for volunteering? What do you do to keep yourself busy, this and that? So, after 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'll nominate you. And I say, here's your form, we'll fill it out, we're gonna go to a Frog River or whatever. And when I get these back and I have to get the picture, you remind me to give you a good picture. And I read this and I'm like, I wasn't this good when I was at school. And the things that these students do, I'm like, well, what do you do on your free time? Because they're so busy, they do so many exceptional things. And so I'm gonna let her use her cheat sheet here, but just an amazing, and congratulations to mom and dad, by the way. This didn't happen at the time. And so I'm very flattered and grateful to get to present to students like this, and then obviously kind of give them and their parents a pat on the back. So take it away. There you
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm just a little bit what I do. Like Lisa said, okay. I'm involved in the equestrian team at Grants Pass. This is my 3rd year. And then I'm in leadership, this is my 4th year in leadership, and I really love it. We're putting on the Fog and River dance right now. So if you have any little girls that are elementary school age, you just bring them. They're gonna be super fun. And then I've done work release through my work. I work at a veterinary clinic. I'm trying to work out hours so I can have enough when I go to college. And then I'm involved in church leadership. I help plan activities for our girls throughout the weeks that we do all year round. And then I used to volunteer at Wildlife Images, so I have a lot of service hours there. I really enjoy animals. That's like my passion is animals, obviously because I want to be a veterinarian. And then I got accepted into Oregon State University, so that's really exciting. So I'll be going there in the fall, and I'm gonna study zoology, and then hopefully be accepted into their veterinary program. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
What events do you compete in SOSA?
Okay, I compete poles, figure 8, driving with my mini mule, in-hand trail, and individual flags are my my events. And then I do the drill team, I do bi-wrangle, Canadian flags. I'm on what else? There's so many. There's a lot of events. Yeah, I am about 11. And last May I went to the state and I actually got 1st place in hand trail.
What is, when you say hand trail, what does that mean?
In hand trail, so it's with my mini mule. There's like an obstacle course I go through, and so it's like really professional. I have to wear like slacks and be like all like fancy. And my mini mule, her name's Emmy. She's super cute, and so we go through this like obstacle course. And I love this.
What's a mini mule? How big are they?
It's what is it? The mom is a donkey, the dad is a horse, but I mean both minis. So like a mini horse and a mini donkey. and then created a mini mule. Yeah, she's about like this big. Yeah.
So you're not riding her through the office?
No. No, I walk next to her.
I can turn my mic on, I turned it off so I can eat it.
Thank you.
So I know that you've talked about that's what you did in your free time and listening to all of the things that you competed in. I'm just gonna assume that that's how you spend a lot of your free time.
Yes.
And horses and working. And is that, do you have the horse in town or do you?
I board, so I have 2 horses and I board them out by Fort Benoit.
Okay. Okay.
It's a birthday, I forgot to say, it's a birthday.
Oh, it's a 18, wow, you're an adult. Okay, well, thank you. Like I said, you are wonderful. This is a wonderful part of our Rotaries to see the wonderful youth that are coming up. It means a lot to all of us, so thank you for being here and keep on rocking and get through. I have people out there right now trying to recruit veterinarians because we have a shortage. Anybody want to invest in a building out on Williams Highway? They're trying to sell it so that they can recruit a veterinarian to come to our community because we're in such dire need. So,
Well, thank you.
yes,
I
thank you.
appreciate this.
All right, so now it's fun time. Yes, give. Okay, so you can give this to Mr. Sargent.
Okay.
I'll hold on to this.
That's. I think I'll need to give you a certificate.
Well, I need that, grab my microphone for a dragon. Yeah.
All right, this is your certificate. It shows you are student service above self. And this is the fun part. This is a check for $825 for you. And then you have gift cards and gift certificates and all kind of stuff. And I'm so excited, it's worth over $1,000. So, congratulations.
Okay, now, I got used to it, I have to get used to this, but, thank you for, I mean, this is always such a wonderful, wonderful day when we get a service about ourselves, and to see the youth in our community. This is Foundation Month for Rotary. So Foundation Month is our foundation and Rotary is a very important part of our Rotary, because that's when you really get to understand Rotary and see how the money that you give to Rotary gets used and comes back to us. Often the grants that we have in the community are from the money that you put in, and also the number of international grants is huge. I have the number here. Gina doesn't, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna turn it over to Gina, because she is our official Rotary person, and thank Jan Jones, she also treasurer, so she's gonna write. Yes.
All right, hello. I'm going to talk about the Rotary Foundation, but before we go through the slide presentation, I want to make some clarifications because there's some things that get a little bit confusing in Rotary, and we're not going to go into great detail about them this time, but just for clarification, our club, Road Gateway Rotary Club, is part of Rotary International, right? And you will pay your dues for being a member of Rotary to our club. So we have a club, checking account and all that kind of comes through the club. If you want to give money to support some of our local projects like Porch Fest or Shoes That Fit or our backpack project, we have our own club foundation called the RG Rotary Foundation. Jan is the treasurer for that. So if you're so when you're wanting to donate specifically to one of those projects that we do locally here, that's where you would write your check to. And then the Rotary Foundation is a totally separate organization. It's a separate organization from Rotary International. And it is the way that Rotary does good in the world. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Next, please. So this is what the Rotary Foundation does. It really is about helping Rotarians, Rotary members, to advance world understanding, goodwill, peace by improving health, quality of education, improving the environment, alleviating poverty. It's really about trying to figure out how can we make it possible for Rotarians, individual club members all around the world, to identify the needs and issues of their local communities and the global communities, and to do projects. So for Rotarians to be able to come up with the ideas, put the projects together, and make them happen. And so all of the funding for that, all of the projects that we do around the world, polio, vaccinations, and all of the things come out of the Rotary Foundation. But next. So one of the really important things to know about our foundation is how incredibly impressive it is in terms of the standards. So you guys may be familiar with Charity Navigator, rates nonprofit organizations. Their highest score is a 4-star, and the Rotary Foundation has been a 4-star charity for the last 15 years. And it's because so much of the funds go directly to the actual programs themselves. Go ahead. So how do we do this? So Rotary has identified sort of areas of focus that are the things that we really care about in the world and we want to try to make an impact on. And we have 7 of them now. So it's peace building and conflict prevention, disease prevention and treatment, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, community economic development, and the latest one a few years ago we adopted was the environment. And so really they're trying to identify, like, these are the things that we feel will really make for a better world. And so identifying projects that fall into one of these categories. So when we're applying for grants or we're trying to create a project, whether it's local or international, we're looking to see which of these areas of focus it falls into. And we can donate to specific projects. But you can also, as a Rotarian, you can also make a donation to the Rotary Foundation and specify a particular area. If you have a passion about water hygiene, I think John, did I see John here today? John's there. I know he's got a passion for water. And so you can make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation and say, I want this to go specifically to any project that involves water, or I'm really interested in the environment. And so you can steer your donations to specific areas. The really important thing to understand is how money is leveraged by the foundation. So we have within the annual fund is sort of the largest bucket of money in the Rotary Foundation, and that's what is used for most of our programs. And there's a part of annual fund called annual fund share. And the way that this works, take this out. The way that this works is that all of the donations that club members make, or Rotarians make around the world this year, specifically to annual fund share. So when you write your check, you have to say annual fund share. That money is invested for 3 years. And all of that interest that is earned is used to actually support the operations, which is how we're able to put all of your donations directly towards projects, because they're using the interest that they earn for those 3 years to run the administrative piece of the foundation. So after 3 years, that money that you've donated comes back out and it gets split between the World Fund and district designated funds. Okay. World Fund is the money that the Rotary Foundation uses to match global grants. So when somebody's applying for a global grant, they can get money from their club, from their district, and then they can go to the Rotary Foundation and get extra matching funds for their global grant. That comes out of the World Fund pot. The World Fund also funds a lot of the polio plus work. The other half of that money that we all donated, each one of us donated to annual fund share, comes back to our district. So any money that we donated 3 years ago, half of that money comes back to our district as district designated funds. And then our district gets to decide how to use that for grants. So you go to the next slide. No problem. So we'll talk about how our club has benefited from all these things, right? So we've had a global grant. You guys are familiar with Jim and Jolene Lefebvre. Started this water project in Cozumel, Mexico that's just about wrapped up and complete. That was a global grant. So donations that we made and that others in the district made, went to the Rotary Foundation. 3 years later, came back and were matched by the World Fund to make this grant possible. Excellent. And then we have local grants that are district grants, and those also get matched, and those also come out of the annual fund share. So the money that we gave 3 years ago is come back to us. And this year, we're going to be doing another round of the Shoes That Fit grant. We're going to be purchasing 134 pairs of shoes for kids at the Boys and Girls Club. And we put in $2,020 from our club, and the district matched us with another $2,000. So we have $4,020 to do that work with. The next one, the other project we're doing this year is the Shade for Veterans grant. So again, we put in 2,000, the district matched us with 2,000, and we're able to provide 10 shade trees at the Hillcrest Veterans Village. So all of that is because we donated 3 years ago, and that money came back to our district to make this work, and we're able to match and then leverage funds. Real quick through the rest of this, I think. So there's a lot of different ways that we try to encourage giving to the Rotary Foundation. And one of those things is an initiative called Every Rotarian Every Year. And the idea is right now, about 34% of Rotarians worldwide give to the annual fund. And so in 2022, 2023, this is what we were able to do. $147 million was able to provide 1,090, almost 2,000 global grants, or a little over 1,000 global grants were awarded. That's not to count all of the other district grants and all of the other work that was, able to be done. We could do that much with 34% of Rotarians giving. Imagine if every Rotarian gave, right? So the idea of every Rotarian every year is that each of us would donate at least $25 specifically to the annual fund share program, because again, that's what supports all of these projects. Go ahead again. So there's ways that you can be recognized for your own individual giving, and I'm not going to go too much through this, but sustaining members are people who commit to giving $100 or more to the annual fund specifically. So there's, again, you can donate to polio and specific projects, but the money that comes specifically to the annual fund. We also have the Paul Harris Fellow recognition, which is probably the most notable. And so every time you make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation of $1,000, you're recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow. It doesn't have to be all in one lump sum. When I first joined Rotary, I think I was donating $10 a year, and it was going to, or $10, it was going to take a while for me to get to my first, Paul Harris. Now I donate $10 a month. And so you can, you can do it piecemeal, but as soon as you've reached $1,000 in giving to the Rotary Foundation, you're recognized as a Paul Harris. And then for every $1,000 after that, you're recognized again. And if you are, you can go ahead. If you are really special and you commit to contributing $1,000 every year to the annual fund, you can be a member of the Paul Harris Society. There's club recognitions. So Rotary recognizes clubs who commit to giving to the foundation. So if every single member of our club donates to the foundation, we can be 100% foundation giving club. If every Rotarian donates at least $25 to the share program, we can be an E-rate club. So there's lots of different ways the clubs can get recognized. And then here's all the ways you can give. It's really easy. So the easiest way probably is to go through Rotary Direct. That's what I've done. Raise your hand if you're in Rotary Direct, or if you know you're in Rotary Direct. You just sign up for it once, and then it automatically comes out of your checking account, your credit card, however you want to set it up. You say, I want to do $10 every month to the annual share program, and it just happens, and you don't have to think about it. You can just donate, one-time gift online. You can write a check. If you do write a check, make sure you write it to the Rotary Foundation. And in the memo, if you're wanting it to go to share, make sure you say annual fund share, or if it's going to Polio Plus or whatever, and you can give those checks to me. Jim Lefevre is our foundation chair, but I kind of manage the fund side of it. You can mail directly, all kinds of things. So here's something that I wanted you guys to know in case, because I know some people are like, have I made my donation yet this year? I'm not sure where my donations are going. You can find your own information. So if you go to rotary.org and you log in, and then you click up in that where the first red circle is My Rotary, and it will get a drop down, and then membership and foundation reports, click on that. Go next. And then you'll hit this reports, and you can select donor history report, go to next, and you'll get a report like this. And what you can see is the circle on the left there shows that I achieved my every return every year for this current year in July, made my contribution in July 2025, so I'm good. So you can see if you've made that goal. On the left side or right side, I can see how many recognition points I have. And those are points that I can use to recognize somebody else. So I get my own Paul Harris. But now I have 3,245 points that I can use to honor somebody else. And it can be a Rotarian or a non-Rotarian. I know Brenda has recognized all of her grandkids with Paul Harris Awards over the years. So you can check to see how many points you have there. And then if you want to get details on when was my last donation or how much money did I donate, you can click on the transaction detail below and you can get all of your information. So if you're ever not sure, did I make my donation this year? Have I met E-Ray? You can go find it yourself on Rotary. And that's everything that I have about it.
Also, my Rotary is what I typed in. I just typed in myrotary.org and it takes me right to that place.
Yeah. All right. So we have a special award because we have another club member who has achieved it looks like their first Paul Harris Fellow Award. And that is Miss Pat Babb. So again, this is to recognize that Pat has made a cumulative donation of at least $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you.
All right.
Perfect.
Great. Oh, welcome. Welcome to the club.
Yes. Any questions before I go about the Rotary Foundation or where your money goes or how to find your stuff?
And I will say it is very easy. It is very easy to go to myrotary.org and get there and check to see. I went to look because I get access to some really cool reports as president. And so I kind of went on and I got these stickers and they said, well, give them to the sustaining members of your club. I didn't know what a sustaining member of my club was, so I didn't know who to give them to. But I found some just amazing things about a club. In giving from our club, and our club started in what, 1997? 92. Oh, thank you, Debbie would know. We have given over $361,456 to the annual fund share. That is amazing. What I looked at, and this number that we have 38 Paul Harris Award winners. That's amazing. We have Rotarian donors, 63 of our club, and that's amazing. I went to look to see how many people gave in 2025, thinking, oh, maybe that's what they're talking about, because this is 24, 25. I was gonna make a whole thing, and then there was like 77% of our club gives that. It was just like, it took me 3 days to do something special for you, so I'm just giving you something special now. We are a special club, and we give we're giving people, and so that's wonderful. And I couldn't say more how Rotary leverages that money and turns around. I think I read somewhere, and I have it written on a piece of paper, it was probably on the car, that I think there were over 1,900 grants giving for World this year. Yes, and there was, I think almost 900 districts. So I mean, it's just like we give and give, and so that is just, that's what it's all about, and that's why we're all here. Yes, one more thing.
Yeah. Okay, one more thing. So I checked. The other piece to know right now is currently, as of yesterday, we have 13 club members. And I think we have a total of, I want to say like, I'm trying to remember how many are in our club right now. It's like 68.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at 68 is our total club count right now. 13 of us are currently have made a donation of at least $25 to the annual share program. So we've got 13 out of 68 are current with E-Ray, right? Every return every year. So if you check to see if you think you should have made that donation and you're not really sure, or you've still got time, right? So we've got until the end of the Rotary year, until the end of June. And of course, our club has for many years now run the Super Bowl pool as a way to encourage people to make that $25 donation to the annual share fund so that we can get to that every return every year. So you've still got time, but we've got a little ways to go yet.
And I'm assuming Greg is gonna get some help this year doing that. I think Jim Hoover said he would, just so you know who to start poking. Okay, and then we have another special guest here who is a Rotary member, honorary member, Kate Wire. She is here to talk about Rotary or charitable giving in general in our community and how it's changing.
Yeah.
So take it away, Kate.
Hi, thank you. Nice to see you all again. There it is. Great. Things are always so hard to get off. I just want to mention, Lutz, I cannot tell you how happy I am to see that you are doing well. Can't wait to tell all of you. My son Owen was one of Litz's students and I just heard all about it every time he had a class. Absolutely loved it. So I have the honor of being the executive director of the Four-Way Community Foundation, which is our very own community foundation here in Josephine and Western Jackson County. And not every community has its own community foundation, so it's a pretty special thing. I am going to tell you about some ways to give that you can use to give to Four-Way, that you can use to give to Rotary, that you can use to give to anything that moves your heart in our community, and some of the ways you can utilize Four-Way to give gifts even to other places. And so some of these things are changing rapidly. Bella did make us a handout about some of them, and I'm going to touch on most of those. So, great. Take it away, clicker. Excellent. So, the Four-Way Community Foundation, as you might have guessed from the name, was born in the Rotary Club of Grants Pass, which of course was the parent to the other Rotaries here. So they started it. Go ahead. And 50 years later, together we have given over $10 million to local nonprofit organizations. Next. So this is our 2025 board. You're going to recognize a lot of faces in there. And I'm proud to announce that Claudia Sullivan has just joined our board. Yeah, see that website. And we also now have Katie Elliott and Bob Lieberman, and we have many people in the room who have served on the Four-Way board. Thank you so much. Looking at quite a few of you, and several others in your club who aren't here today. But that local board gives us the deep knowledge that we need of relationships and organizations and nonprofits to be able to make the dollars that people entrust with us go much farther, because we understand the relationships between the groups and we know the people involved. So it takes time, vision, and money to take care of each other through our community foundation. I usually come and present to the Rotary clubs in May. This year I couldn't because it was the big conference. I hope to get back on that schedule with you all, because I like to come and announce the grants when they're fresh. We this last year made $550,000 in local grants and contributions. So we hope to be able to come and announce those again. But it's the local nonprofits or organizations in our community that do the daily work. So when I come, I like to present the checks to some of the groups that are closely affiliated with individuals here. And so because they're the ones who actually, we write them a check, which is great, but a check doesn't take a child by the hand and take them to the court the way CASA does. So it's those nonprofit organizations that do the work. So this year we threw them our birthday party at the Fairgrounds Floral Building for over 100 nonprofit organizations. And we had a great time with the Rogue Gold Jazz Band and local folks having a good time together, and Casa Amiga killed it. They did such a great job. They fed 370 people in 20 minutes, and it was absolutely delicious. I can't speak highly enough of them. And then we asked people to dress up as knights in shining armor for their community, which was a tremendous amount of fun. And I want to mention that one important night that you need for all the information that I am giving you is your tax professional or your estate attorney or your financial advisor. I have learned a lot and I'm pleased to share it with you, but I am not a tax professional. And some of these questions get kind of confusing and a little thorny, and there's lots of statutes. My reason to be here today is to make sure you know what these instruments are, so that you can then ask your tax professional about implementing them. So if you haven't heard of them, you can't ask the question. But I'm not the person who can answer the very detailed tax questions. You do need professionals for that, and I think there's a lot of them available to you, especially through Rotary. So there are all kinds of ways to give. There's an RMD and a QCD and a DAF and a DDF and a CRAT and a CRET, and oh my golly, right? But you can use pretty much any of these tools to give to anything that moves your heart. And that might be Rotary Foundation, and that might be the Four-Way Foundation, and it might be the Library Foundation, but it might be the Tamar Rock Foundation, but you can use these instruments. And so we are here to help you with that. So we're gonna start with an RMD. That's a required minimum distribution that you have to take out of certain retirement funds at a certain age. Once you're 59, you may take a distribution, but at age 73, you have to start taking these required minimum distributions. And sometimes there's tax consequences to that. You really don't need that income this year. It's going to raise your Medicare premium. It's going to tip you over a certain threshold, and you're charitably minded. So you want to make a charitable gift. You can make it directly from your retirement account. Your fiduciary has to send that check directly to the charity. And you will get a reduction in your taxable income. You won't get a tax deduction for the gift because it's already taxes. Talk to your tax night about that. But a QCD is an excellent tool that you can use to give to any of the things that you really care about. You cannot give a QCD to a donor advised fund because the IRS thinks you still have too much control then over that gift. But you can do a donor designated fund. So if you were to say, hey, I'm going to bunch my gifts for the next couple of years using this QCD tool, and I'm going to give it to Four-Way and say, I want this to always benefit youth at risk, or I want this to always benefit libraries, or I want this to always benefit students who want to become veterinarians, right? We can do that. And then that's kind of a loophole that once you've designated where it's going, that you can use a QCD to give to it. And so making a donor advised fund or a QCD gives you the opportunity to bunch and bundle your gift. So maybe you don't itemize every year. You can decide to give as a lump, and then you'll itemize that year, take that larger deduction. And with a donor advised type vehicle, you'll have time to give it out over time. Or you could give it to Four-Way as a defrayable fund. So you could say, here's this chunk of money. I'm going to do a QCD to do it, but I want you to give $10,000 a year to the Library Foundation, for instance. So we can make your annual gift to them, but you can bundle it at one time. And once you've designated who it's going to, it's okay to use a QCD to do that. So we go back one, sorry, I didn't talk about this enough. So what happens with a donor advised fund is you make the gift, you get the full tax deduction, we grow it, we invest it, we grow it, and then you get to recommend grants to local nonprofits. So our board has to approve them, but really, I mean, you want to give to something that's a well-known nonprofit in our community, our board is going to approve it. That's not going to be a problem. But we do have to approve that. So you can make a gift of appreciated stock. I didn't know, I didn't look this up, Jan. I'm wondering, does the Rotary Foundation, can they liquidate appreciated stock for the Road Gateway Rotary Foundation? Because you probably don't have your own broker for that. So that is something that Four-Way does for our local nonprofits at no charge. It's nice, it's kind if you make a consideration to Four-Way at the same time to help us with the administrative cost of that. But we offer that at no charge to our nonprofits. So if you want to give to the Road Gateway Rotary Foundation and you want to use appreciated stock to make that gift, you can make it to Four-Way and say, liquidate this stock and give it to the Road Gateway Foundation. So that's another thing that you can do. So the reason to make a gift of appreciated stock is that let's say you bought the stock for $10,000 and it's grown. You have to have owned it for at least a year, and then it has grown. When you give it to the charity, there's no tax liability for that growth because we're a non-taxable organization. So if you wanted to give some money from appreciated stock to the Rogue Valley Humane Society, they're thrilled and they would like to take that, but they don't have a broker. So you can do that through Four-Way. It's just one of the many things we do for our nonprofits. Now, there are also instruments like a charitable annuity trust or a charitable remainder trust or a life estate where you give a home and you live in it for the rest of your life, but you've already given it, so you've already gotten the tax deduction. We don't do those. There's just too big of a liability. It's too administratively thorny and legally complex. I looked it up. The Rotary Foundation does do those. And some much larger organizations do them. So for instance, if you wanted to utilize the benefits of this kind of system, and these are so in and out, you really have to ask your tax professional about these. But let's say you wanted to give to Four-Way through this type of instrument, you can, because we have relationships with groups like the Oregon Community Foundation. And over a certain threshold, they will make this arrangement with Four-Way as the beneficiary of the remainder. And the only stipulation is that half the remainder has to stay under the custody of OCF. We can be the beneficiary of that half, and the other half can come straight to us. So we can actually utilize these complex instruments, but we don't administer them because they're just too big for us to do. So some of the different funds that we have held through time that I'm sure I've told a bunch of you about before. Rose Douglas had a son who had Down syndrome, and she helped found Aspire, and she left her life savings in the care of Four-Way and said, make life better for people like Gary in Josephine County. So now we get to look out for those wishes over time. And so she left a gift of about $825,000. It has given over $500,000 locally, and the fund now has $1.1 million in it. So that's the growth of those funds over time. That money can never leave Josephine County, and it will never be used for something other than what Rose wanted. And we go out and we look for opportunities to help small nonprofits grow, to become stronger, to become the giant powerhouse that Greenleaf is now, to be Rogue River Institute that takes more and more people out there. We've done a tremendous amount to support Crossing Bridges and Healing Hearts and Hooves in the Illinois Valley. We go out and we help these people grow and thrive, and we say, would Rose love this? So that's the thing about leaving a long-term wish gift with your community foundation, is that we have people like many in this room who have served on our board and will serve on our board in the future, who were looking out for your wishes, and they knew you and they loved you, and they're going to perpetuate your wish into the future. So we make very customized gift instruments. Often people say, I have this very specific thing that I want, and we can sit down with people and we can talk about their giving goals and help them write an instrument. And we have file cabinets with like letters and interviews with donors, so that over time, when there's new board members and new leadership, we can read all about those people and what they cared about and why they made this gift and why they made these stipulations, and we can continue those wishes through time. Next slide. Thank you. So we asked, what would you champion? What is it in your community? I mean, obviously all of you are wonderfully given to Rotary International, which is wonderful. And then at the same time, when you're looking at your very local community and what organizations you would want to support or what initiatives you would want to support, you can work with your local community foundation to make those wishes come true. And so our tax advantage tools include all of these opportunities. We also do, what I haven't talked about yet, is pass-through donations. Well, we did talk about that with appreciated stock, but you can also give us money and say, give this to this other group. And one of the reasons people might do that is if they would like to remain anonymous. So they want to make a gift, but they don't want to be asked all the time, or they want to make a gift, but they don't want to, for whatever reason. They can give us that gift, tell us where they want it to go. It goes on the non-public inspection copy of our 990. So if it's a certain size gift, the information could be had from us by subpoena, but not really going to happen. And then the group gets the gift, and we just say this is from an anonymous donor. So we can do that as well. And we hold gifts for a future purpose. So, and then we also go out and we help nonprofits become stronger. We teach people how to be board members. We teach people how to run a nonprofit. Lots of people created a nonprofit for a passion in our community. They didn't create it to learn the difference between the different required policies and, but at some point they have to learn those things, or they're not going to be able to continue and grow and continue to serve people in our community. So we go out and we teach people, and we also help them with, I get calls every week asking about potential board members. And so we kind of help people match their board interest. If you would like to serve on a nonprofit board, but you're just not really sure what, you can always call me up and say, I'm really interested in this kind of thing. Well, what about these guys? Well, what's the culture of that organization like? Well, where do they meet? So that you can find out, and then we can help you match your wishes to being on a board. So endowment funds, we hold quite a few. They're a long-term growth strategy. The organization cannot touch it. So a lot of donors really like this because they want there to be ongoing operational support for an organization, but they don't want, you know, a new board to be like, oh, hey, let's just spend that down. So endowments are a popular way to give, and we hold quite a few of them. The Boys and Girls Club, we hold 4 endowments for. And we have given them over $700,000 through the years, helping them move from the Quonset hut they had into their beautiful facility. The Performing Arts Center was an example of a gift made for a future purpose. Mel Voorhees said, take my life savings, I'm not going to live to see it. Help us get a performing arts venue in this community. It was quite a few years after his death when they were building the new high school, and Four-Way went and said, think big, and here's the money to get you going on it. And then we continue to champion and steward those gifts. So thank you, Kelly. See, that's boy, we couldn't have done it without you. We went to the new superintendent of Grants Pass High School on his second day. Greg came with me, and we said, you know, the Performing Arts Center is a jewel of our community. We read all the interviews with people about when they were looking for a new superintendent, and one person after another said, the Performing Arts Center, such a jewel. We said, it's coming up on 25 years, let's celebrate it. And because of the help of Tommy and Kelly and Greg and John Higgins, and I'm not going to name enough people, so many people came together and we were able to put this on, and people made contributions. Thank you very much. And we continue to give them grants. I believe that the big 25th anniversary earned, I think, $175,000 toward the improvement and upkeep of the organization. And we're going to continue to do that because this is a project that is in our family of care. The Humane Society, we have 3 funds for them and have given them over $500,000 through the years. And it was a large gift entrusted to us way back when that helped them purchase the facility that they're in now. And the YMCA has a new endowment with us. And then we also hold the endowment on the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So if you would like to contribute to that, you can just earmark your check to Four-Way. So you can bring a donor advised fund home to us if you have one somewhere else. It's very easy. You just tell your fiduciary. Your donor advised fund home with us. All of your gifts are confidential until you tell us you want to be recognized. So that's why you don't see a list out there published of who Four-Way supporters are, because we don't tell unless you ask us to. And we just celebrated our Dick and Sue Cohen for our Distinguished Service Award, and they gave their $10,000 charitable gift to the Library Foundation. And Dick and Sue have moved away to Portland. Yeah, I know, we love them so much. They've moved away to Portland, and Dick Adams moved away to Portland. And I was just talking to all of them, and they were all saying, you know, we recognize that when people leave our community, they take their wealth with them, and we don't get to grow. And so they've each said, we're going to be leaving a consideration to our community in our estates through Four-Way, so that we're not taking all of our wealth away from our communities. And so together we have done a great deal, and we will do more. And don't forget to consult your knight in shining armor, because I am not a tax professional. And thank you so much for your generosity.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I learned a lot myself. And I ain't gonna bring Jenny up because Jenny's got something for she's our Sergeant of Arms today. So here is the official. Thank you, Belle. Thank you, lovely presenters today. That's my message for today, is gratitude. I've been thinking about being Sergeant at Arms quite a bit, and I've been looking like what happened today, what's historical, and there were some interesting things. But I think I'm not alone in saying that I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed lately with information,
with just everything that's happening in the world. And I know that we're all feeling that. And so that was kind of where I started, was how to deal with feeling overwhelmed. Right? And we've heard these before, but sometimes I think these are things that are really easy to forget. A pause and breathe. Talk about your feelings. Be respectful of your friends. I have some friends that thinks I'm their personal counselor. Practice mindfulness or meditate. I find meditation to be torture. Which takes me to the next one, be gentle with yourself and kind. I really like this one. I did this once. I called it the year of no. Make a no list. Find the things that it's okay to say no to, and don't feel guilty about doing that. Delegate tasks. That's a hard one for some of us that are a bit perfectionists. But that's one of the things I've really learned in Rotary is the more that we come together to do great things, the more we're able to do. Journal your thoughts. This one is big. Prioritize sleep. It's very easy to just stay awake, and I think I slept for 14 hours last night, so I'm feeling better today. Focus on what you can control. Get moving. And break tasks into smaller steps, which I think is good advice. But the last one is what made me bring this whole article in. Schedule worry time. Set aside a specific time to think about your worries. Outside of this time, try to keep your focus in the present. And I liked that. So that's why I shared that with you. And then I have all this other stuff about science behind gratitude and how it can change your life. How to cultivate an attitude of gratitude and the benefits of gratitude. It can change your life. And this is true. Whether you're writing down something each night about what you're grateful for, whether you're thinking about it in the morning, it rewires the way that we think and we see all the good in this world. And you know what? I'm just going to close before I open up for Happy Bucks. I want to hear things that you're grateful for in this time of gratitude. I forgot what I was going to say. So it'll come back to me. How about Happy Bucks for things that we are grateful for? I'm grateful for Gina and the microphone.
Calvin, for those of you who don't know, Calvin broke his elbow on Saturday. But I am so grateful for Asante and the emergency room staff because he's not an easy child and they were so amazing with him. The staff knew all the video games he played and they talked all about it. And so that made that experience much more positive than it would have been otherwise.
I am grateful that I've brought my partner Larry Miller with me today and then forgot to introduce him. So I'm doing that now.
I'm grateful to see Lutz.
So I got a little bit of story. I'm gonna be quick because we're 2 minutes after. I'm grateful that I gotta make this a grateful thing. So grateful that I was able to do this thing. So middle of the night, I'm really sleeping, but middle of the night for me is like 9 o'clock because I go to bed early. So Bev was like, clothes washer's not working. There's an alarm, built in. Okay, what's going on with the clothes washer thing? So I didn't want to get out of bed. I got out of bed and I started. So what felt like 25 hours later, trying to take the clothes washer apart so I could fix this thing. And then finally, after YouTube or whatever, there's a little filter down there and the filter's got stuff in it and I can't get the filter out because it's stuck and I can rattle it around. And in my head it's okay, there's jewelry in there, there's earrings, there's women's things in there. Damn it, it's their fault. It's somebody else's fault. Finally, after a while, I get that thing apart and it's all my crap.
I just want to say I'm grateful to be a Rotarian. It's just wonderful. Everybody here is just so delightful to work with. I'm also grateful for my parents and what they have provided me, and I have a home over my head because of them.
I'm grateful for two things from nature. One is I found some honey mushrooms growing on a stump at my house. How many mushroom pickers do we have here? If you're interested in knowing what they look like, they are edible. And by the way, you can tell the difference, if you can tell the difference between a Pomeranian and a red fox, between a black and white cat and a skunk, you can learn which mushrooms are good and which ones aren't. And the other thing I'm grateful for is that on the coast the other day, I went down to the harbor at Brookings and here's a boat that was selling tuna. So I bought a tuna and today I started butchering it. And if you have not eaten raw sushi, sushi,
Oh, yeah.
albacore, it is the best.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, we're really stretched for time, so I am simply gonna say, I am grateful for all of you in this club and reading the report and seeing how many generous people there are in this club. It was absolutely amazing to me, so thank you all for being who you are. And thank you, Jenny, because she pulled, I mean, hey, you pulled my car, and I know. So next week, that was wonderful, and I will give it.
I got one more thing, because I remembered what I was gonna say. All of these things I told you about gratitude and appreciation and taking care of yourself, self-care. I was talking with my friend at work the other day, and I said, I know I'm preaching to the choir. But then I added, but the choir listens.
And I'm gonna ask you, it's interesting, obviously Thanksgiving is coming up, so gratitude big on all our minds. So my thought for the day is, to speak gratitude is courteous and pleasant. To enact gratitude is generous and noble. But to live gratitude is to touch heaven. So, my debate today, friends are the family we choose. Have a happy Thanksgiving, friends. You will live. Yeah, 2 weeks, next meeting. Next meeting is